Hey, welcome my fellow investors. It's me, E.T. And remember, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not your financial advisor. I'm just a self-taught investor who likes to talk about ways to increase one's net worth and also financial literacy. Now, today's video, what we're going to focus on is your typical household. And what I want to talk about here is that what I want to bring to your attention is that every household in this country operates, regardless of whether you're conscious of it or not, operates just like a business. We have income coming in, we have assets, expenses, we have assets, liabilities, and expenses. We have it all just like a company. And then we have our cash flow. In other words, if you're looking at a company, there's three financial statements you're going to look at. All right? But it also applies to every household. We have an income statement. Everybody looks at the income statement. We want to see where the income is coming from. You in your household, me in my household, we have income. That's an income statement. We have a balance sheet. A balance sheet is going to show us our liabilities, our expenses, and our assets. All right. And when you're evaluating a company, what you're looking at is you're making sure that they have their asset columns, or the value of all their assets, outweigh all of the liability that they own, especially for an established company. If it's a new company, we understand. We want to see them growing. All right. And then you have your cash flow. Income is going to pay the bills, liabilities, expenses. All right. What else are you going to do with that money? How much money do we have left over to do other things with? Those are the three primary and most important financial statements that a company has. We have it in our household also. So what we're going to focus on today is we're going to focus on the balance sheet, liabilities, expenses, and assets in your typical household, and see how we need to really relate that to business. Because regardless of whether you believe it or not, whether you want to believe it or not, every household is functioning as a business, period. We've got bills to pay. We got income that needs to come in. Money that's left over after the bills, we have to do something with. It's just like in a company. So let's take a look at your typical household. Right off the bat, let's start with liabilities. Your typical household have these type of liabilities. You're going to have mortgage. If you own a house, you're going to have a mortgage. That's a liability, not an asset. If you follow Robert Kiyosaki, he made the point very, very clear that the house that you live in is not an asset, it's a liability, because guess what? You're paying something on that house every month. Assets give money to you, liabilities take money away from you. All right, so you're going to have a mortgage. You're going to have, most households will have car payments. Then you have your various credit cards, whether it's major credit card or department store credit card. Then, of course, you're going to have your bank loans. Bank loans, you're going to have your student loan. This is a bank loan. You could have a personal loan from the bank, or you can have a bill consolidation loan. Those are your typical bank loans that you're looking at there. All right, now your typical expenses. Now, if you don't own your house, if you haven't bought a house, then chances are you're renting, whether it's a house or whether it's an apartment. Rent is an expense, not a liability. It's an expense. But we also have to have food. Go out there and buy some groceries. We've got utility bills that we're going to have to pay. And of course, we all have taxes. Okay? Now, if you owe the government, they can probably move from an expense to a liability. All right? But the bottom line, we all have taxes. And believe it or not, this is the biggest bill that we're going to ever have to pay. It's bigger than your rent. It's bigger than your mortgage. And all you got to do is you got to look at all of the taxes that you're paying. We're not just talking about federal taxes. We're talking about federal, state. We're talking about sales taxes, taxes that they take out from your utilities, taxes that you pay when you go buy a gallon of gas. When you add up all your taxes that you're paying, it is the most expensive bill that we have here. But also we're looking at insurance. Different types of insurance. If you own a home, you're going to have homeowners insurance. If you're renting, you have renter's insurance. If you're driving a car, you got to have auto insurance. Then you're looking at health care. Got entertainment in there. Entertainment could be a wide variety of things, from money that you use to go out to eat, to go to the movies and so forth. But also, what's classified there is things like that you pay, like Netflix, and any bills that you have like that. All right, transportation. Yes, we may have car payments under liability, but also there's other transportation costs to having a car, such as you have to put gas in that vehicle and you have to maintain that vehicle. Travel, some of us like to travel and so forth. And then I used to consider phone bill as part of utilities, but the way phones are operating now and the way they are now, I think they should have their own separate category, but it's an expense. Your phone bill, all right? That is your typical household liabilities and expenses. Now, just like with any business, what we want to do is we want to start taking a look at ways to start adding and increasing things in the asset column. Because what we're trying to do is we're trying to increase our net worth. That's what you want. Everyone needs to know exactly what their net worth is. Their net worth is nothing more than their assets minus your liabilities equals your net worth. So that's why when we look at a company, we want to see, okay, what are their assets, what are their liabilities? If the assets is more, if they have a positive net worth and a company, we look at it as, okay, financially, company looks good. All right. Same thing happens within your household. All right. You want to have a positive net worth. If you don't know your net worth, I would highly recommend that you start tracking your net worth. Add up all your liabilities. You notice I didn't say expenses. Add up all the money that you owe, liabilities. All right. Add up all the value of your assets. Subtract the assets, subtract the liabilities from your asset. Hopefully that's a positive number. If it is, positive net worth. Grow it. If it's negative, guess what? That basically means we need to look at ways to possibly to reduce or eliminate some of our liabilities, but also to possibly reduce some of our expenses. Because once we do that, we can use that money to pay for and pay down some of these liabilities, or use that money to buy more assets. So let's take a look at some of your typical assets that a family or a household may have. All right, right off the bat, you got savings. Savings, good. That savings should represent your emergency fund. All right, everyone's heard that you should have anywhere between a 3 and a 12-month emergency fund. Boy, that's a wide spread. All right, realistically, it boils down to this here. You know, if you're a single guy, if you're a single person, living on your own and you're renting, you know what? 3 to 4 months is probably fine. 3 to 6 months is probably fine. All right, but if you're a well-established married person with a mortgage, you want to be between that 6 and 12-month emergency funds. And you're saving liquid assets, the money that you can get to doing for a true emergency. Now we also, under assets, you want to have real estate. Yes, it's a possibility. You may want to go out there and buy some real estate and rent it out. At that particular point, as long as you're making more money than you're paying, it is going to be considered an asset. Now also, you're looking at stocks. Typically, your stocks, a lot of people are going to be investing in stocks. Maybe they may not even be aware of it, but if you got a 401k and you're in some type of mutual fund, ETX, or any index fund, you're in the stocks. All right. Roth IRA, most of the investment that you can have in a Roth IRA is going to be in the stocks. So stocks. Also, you're looking at bonds. You can get into going out and buying bonds. Realistically, there's 3 levels of bonds. You've got your corporate bonds, you got your city bonds, which is municipal bonds, and then you have your government bonds. All right, great asset tools to have. You have your collectibles. Collectibles are like baseball cards, Pokemon cards, anything that could be of value. You know, it could be art, but also you have royalties. Royalties are things such as if you have a book, you wrote a book, guess what? Every time that book sells, you're getting something off of it. You know, if you've been in a movie, been on TV, you have music, you have online courses. Once it's established, hey, every time it's being used, you're getting paid for it. Also, possibly have a business. All right. And one other thing I want to talk about, and this is, I call this the new kid on the block, and that is crypto. Crypto is it's an asset class now, guys. It's a way to invest. I mean, it's not going to be the primary. I just got involved in crypto this year, this past February. Been, dabbling in it a little bit. I'm starting to establish a pretty good sized portfolio, but overall it's a small section of my portfolio. But crypto is here to stay. You might want to consider really looking into crypto, and there's more to crypto than just currency. All right, so do your own due diligence on that. But the bottom line is this here. This here is your asset columns. And one of the key things that you want to do to relieve some financial pressure, to increase your net worth, to really have a good financial frame of mind is increase the assets, make sure that you have a positive net worth, and you're growing your net worth. And you're doing that just like a business. Regardless of whether you want to admit it or not, your household is your business. If you treat it as a business, you're either going to have a successful business or you're going to have a business that's struggling. Now, guys, hopefully you found this information useful. If so, hit that like, subscribe, notification button. That'll really help out the channel. With all of that being said, it's time to sign off. Remember to save, invest, and apply what you know, because knowledge is not power. It's the application of knowledge is power. Guys, I will see you on the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.